So, what are you passionate about?
What am I passionate about? That's a big question for 5 to 9. 5 to 9, you've been up for 4 hours. So what am I passionate about? Especially, I mean, the big thing at the minute, I know we've had multiple conversations recently, the big thing at the minute I'm really passionate about is the whole growth of the sort of media industry, technology industry, how that's growing, changing.
Yeah.
The other things I'm really passionate about.
So why does that make you passionate? What's the end goal of that sort of thing for you then?
I don't...
So is it the actual industry in general or the role that you play within that?
It's a bit of a mix in the sense of I am very passionate about the industry in a general interest sense. Like, you know, I buy into all of the sort of growth of the esports industry and all that sort of stuff because that's literally all just kicking off now. It's just going to grow and grow and grow.
So where did that come from? Has that
The
always
interest?
been? Yeah.
I've always loved games, as most people my
Computer
age
games,
are the
yeah.
same.
Well, you're Xbox manager.
Yeah, and I mean recently I've started playing on PC.
Right.
And the majority of competitive gaming is done on PC.
Is it?
Yeah. So that's literally mouse and keyboard
Is
controlling,
it?
and
It's like strategy,
it
strategic type
sounds
games.
really different. Even things like Call of Duty,
But you play that on
mouse and keyboard.
mouse and keyboard.
Yeah. I think most people play on most competitive Call of Duty is done on consoles. But there's games like Counter-Strike and games like that which are very, very similar to Call of Duty. They were around before Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But they're specifically designed so that there's no random elements, this sort of stuff, so that it's 100% skill-based. And they're all done on PC, and the term skill gap, so as in from being alright to being like best in the world level is incredible.
Yeah. Right.
Like, if you're the best in the world at this game, the skill gap is so large that you just won't die.
Yeah.
Like, you'll literally just shoot everyone once and you'll kill the entire team, and that's it, game over.
And you get something for that?
So if you get good enough that you go to a competitive level, you start playing in arenas with crowds.
So you're a professional?
You're not a professional, you are a professional. They earn millions.
Right, yeah,
Like-
you telling me this the other day.
Like, it's crazy. And then obviously you've got the whole live streaming and YouTube side of it, where then they're so good at it and they make a bit of a name for themselves that they start basically almost televising themselves playing these games on a daily
That's
basis.
what we talked about the other day, literally streaming, people watching, and then subscribers with these sponsorships, that's where they make their money.
Donations and all that sort of stuff, and they just rake in money.
So what does that, so where do you sit with all that? So do you want to become one of those?
That is pretty much my dream job.
Is it?
Like, I love games so much. It's my hobby. It's everything that I'm, interested in on a, at the minute, non-professional basis.
Right.
But if I could make that my career, that would be amazing. But it's also a slightly touchy subject in a weird way, because I don't want it to become my job. So then not that I won't enjoy it anymore, because I enjoy my job now, but I don't want it to become like I've got to get up at this time and do this. If I don't do this, then I'm going to be disappointed and I'm not going to enjoy the games anymore. It's all about enjoying it.
But it must take over your life.
How you? Yeah, it does.
Because didn't you say you have to
really
stream
does.
for silly amount of hours?
Minimum you could really get away with as a professional, you're probably looking at 6 to 8 hours a day.
Really?
But that is the same as a working
It's a work day.
It's just slightly different hours. You would probably, rather than be 9 to 5, you'd be 12 till 8, because people don't want to watch stuff like that at 9 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, it's a really interesting industry because it's growing so quickly.
If you just strip it back and you think actually what it is, and I might be talking out of turn here because I'm uneducated on it, but it's someone playing a computer game against somebody else that's playing the same computer game, and they're getting paid to play the computer. They're not changing the world. They're not adding you're not changing anything, are they? Not adding
So the counter argument to that, because every single person that hasn't been a part of the community,
uneducated. I don't know. First time I've heard about all this, you telling me.
The immediate argument you fire back at that is if you're watching the best Call of Duty player play and you see that as entertainment, how is that different from watching Manchester United?
Yeah, but I don't get paid to watch Manchester United.
I'm saying Man United players get paid for being the best at football, and millions of people watch them.
Yeah, but that is actually right. I see what you're saying. So from an entertainment point of view,
yeah, it's entertaining. It's a high level of skill. You're watching someone with such a high level of skill at something do what they do.
Yeah,
and
I suppose you could look at it like that.
It's a really weird thing. I don't know why it's entertaining.
Do you know what I mean? For me, it's like you're not changing anything in the world. You're not. It's not like you built a new innovative piece of technology, or it's not like Facebook got created. You know, But then I suppose, like you say, your counter argument is the footballers. They're playing a game. Yeah, I still can't quite get my head around it though.
Yeah. Everyone that has their profession in an industry that is a competitive basis, is literally all sports, even acting on a level, they're essentially just growing their own personal platform this is the most simple way to look at it. What's the major difference in watching someone play a game and talk about all of this stuff than making a podcast and having people listen to that and enjoy it?
Because you learn from actual humans, not from computer games. But then I suppose you're talking about the talking...
Yeah, so that basically the way that actually looks is you'll have the whole screen will be the game. Yeah. And then in the corner will be their webcam. Yeah. And then they'll have a microphone and everything set up. It will basically work similarly to a sort of radio show.
So are you talking to people, obviously as you're playing, so say it was you for instance, so you're live streaming, I'm watching you play FIFA for instance. Yeah. Are you doing stuff on FIFA, doing certain skills and that, and I'm saying to you, Christ, how'd you do that? And you're saying to me, I press R1, L2.
Kind of, but it's much more casual.
Yeah.
It'll be like, there'll be like a chat, and the people that have 50,000 people, that chat goes ridiculously fast.
But what are they talking about then?
Have you seen the rumours about this person going to this club and then they start talking about transfer rumours for the next hour, and then they start talking about...
So it's literally no different from a podcast.
Not really, no.
In some respects.
It's just chatting. Most of the time when you're
watching a guy play a computer.
Most of the time when they're playing FIFA, they don't even talk about football. They'll be talking about all kinds of ridiculous things. But the biggest FIFA streamer, he's had De Bruyne, Bale, all of these people on his stream. The biggest Fortnite streamers have played with Drake on their streams.
So they must get paid to go into these people's stream.
I think they get paid by sponsors.
Yeah.
Some of them do, some of them don't. Some of them go on there because they watch them as well.
Really?
Yeah. So
again, go back round then. So that interests you, and that's something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
But there's an element to that where you want to become a professional and you'd love to make money basically doing something like playing a computer game.
Just something that I love.
I think you also like the interaction side of it as well.
Oh yeah.
You like playing the games, but the way you were explaining it is that
building a community.
It's like this sort of environment. It's just me and you playing a computer game whilst people are tuning in. So
yeah, it's building some sort of community that has. It's not that the community never works in a sense that because you're the streamer, you're the top dog. It never works like that. theoretically does because everyone's watching you, but you're just the same part of that community as anyone else, because although you're talking through a microphone, everyone else is talking through the chat, and you just have a big conversation, and you get all kinds of different people's opinions and all this sort of stuff.
So what about okay, so you obviously, there's an element, as I said a second ago, that you'd like to do that as a career or have that as your job, that'd be your dream job. So whether or not it's that or something else, so as I say, if I fast forward 50, 60 years, what do you think you would like to be, or what would you like to have done?
I've always said my sort of ethos for everything is that by the time I can't do anything anymore, I don't want to have regretted that I haven't done it.
Yeah.
So by the time I'm 85 and I'm, old and weak, and I can't be doing these crazy things, I know for a fact I'm gonna have regretted if I haven't done it, not going skydiving, bungee jumping, all of this sort of stuff. So by the time I get to that age, I've got to have done it, because I can't face regretting not having done something.
But what do you want other people to look at you and say? Because that's a personal goal. So let's flip it slightly onto I'll tell you what do you want people to have remembered you for, and what do you think people would say about you now? What would your close friends, how would they describe you right now?
I reckon out of my close friends, I'm probably they know me as the one that's sort of I'm like the not mature one in a sense of I'm more mature than they are, but mature in the sense of I've travelled a lot more than they have.
Yeah.
I've got sort of a career plan laid out. A little bit, yeah. And it's just that's sort of where I'm sitting at the minute. They're sort of still just trying to worm their way into their sort of career, work out where they want to sit. Whereas with me, I'm sort of in the position where I'm ready to take that next step, which is great for my age, but it's taking that next step that's the really important thing. I think taking that next step is something it takes a lot of thought and working out which route I want to go down.
Yeah.
Because there's, a million different options for where, you can take a career, where you can take your whole life. But as I say, I'm a firm believer in every decision that you make will affect your whole life, be it, what I have for breakfast in the morning ain't going to change the outcome, but
sure,
things like getting up in the morning and going to the gym every day for the next 6 months is going to change my life in some way.
Breakfast might.
Depends.
You have McDonald's for breakfast every day.
Yeah, exactly. Everything can change your life, and it's about working out, especially if you can do it at a relatively young age, what route and path you want to go down to make sure that you're, more than anything, successful is a big one, but happy more than anything, I think.
Yeah.
And they definitely come hand in hand.
Okay. I don't know if is there anything else I want to ask you around that?
If not, flip the question.
What was the question?
What inspires you? What aside from running multiple businesses, I presume that gets you up in the morning quite quickly, but aside from that, what actually drives you?
No, I think it is that. It used to be money. Money. Still is definitely that, because I'm nowhere near where I want to be.
And that's also
long term for it. But I think the more I get into this job and doing everything that I am, and the more day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, everything just, like you say, you're building, and you're learning all the time as well. I think money was always a massive thing for me growing up.
Yeah.
My family are very, very...
What age are we talking? Like
young.
My age or younger?
No, so things like when I used to play football when I was really little, when I was probably about 8 actually, 8 years old I think, my dad had a bet with me that he said, son, you score 50 goals this season, I'll give you 50 quid.
Yeah.
I think I finished on like 56 or something. But he almost instilled it into me from a young age, and money was always a talking thing.
Hard.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, to be honest, I was quite spoiled growing up. I had anything, and I was football. So new Predators, the Adidas Predators, like the Beckham one. Like, as soon as new boot come out, Dad straight down the. We used to go to. Christ, what was it called? There was a little shop in Brentwood's High Street. And when Beckham brought the boots out to begin with, they only come up in adult sizes. I don't think you were born yet, so I only brought them out in adult sizes. There was one shop in Brentwood that used to do them for kids. I'm so angry, I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, but as soon as new boots come out, so I would always have new boots, new pads, drink bottle, like always new, like. Just always kitted me out and everything. I used to like playing the computer when I was growing up. I was quite shy, but it was always money were topics. So I could have been really different, I think, because I could have been very spoiled, which could have made me very lazy and almost a bit of an attitude of just give, just take, you know. So I'm quite pleased that I haven't, but again, that's credit to, I guess, my parents and the people around me, my wife, people that just make sure you don't start being like that. But going back to the money side of things, that's always been a massive part of me. I think as I'm getting older and as I'm, as I say, trying to build brand, businesses and everything else, I think like success is almost the next one now. Yeah. I want to be remembered for being really successful and almost not envious, because I don't care too much about what people think, but it's quite interesting. I've got friends and we put some posts up and they'll always send me a little side message on posts that we put up and that. And I actually get a sense of satisfaction about it, because I think if people are talking about you either behind your back or, you know, oh, why'd you put that post out, it's stupid or whatever. It's an envious thing, and it's I almost think it's a bit of a jealousy thing as well. Oh yeah. I was having a conversation last night with someone about a couple of people that are in this person's circle, and someone in the group has gone off and done really, really well. Yeah. And I think they just bought a property for a couple of million or something. And all their friends around them are a bit like, yeah, but they were given a load of money, inheritance, and
there's always something in there.
Like, why can't you just be happy for people? Why can't you just say, do you know what? Fair play to you. Even if you're given all the money, like, good luck to you. You know, that's what I want to get. And I would look at that like, that's what I want to get to one day. That's where I want to, you know, be able to do all those things, because that's important to me. So I think money was always kind of the first thing that it was. And don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of room to earn a ton more than what I am at the minute, but the success and the legacy and the real kind of achievement is probably now what starts driving me. And every day is a new day. And every day you get up and you go again and you go again. It's not easy, but I love it.
So a couple of questions on just going back to a few things you've said.
Go on.
Do you think that money defines success?
No, I don't. I don't think that if you've got a certain amount of money that means you're successful. No, I don't. I think it's obviously they come hand in hand. In many respects. But I don't think it defines success. I think, you know, each to their own. You know, for you it might be that success is that you want to achieve, you know, pass qualification, for instance, and to begin with, that might not monetize, that might not make you any kind of revenue or anything like that, but it's a sense of achievement, it is success. I do think they do come slightly hand in hand. And that's why I say money almost doesn't become the most kind of focused point of it anymore, because I think as you become successful, the money just follows anyway at some point.
I mean, working with... it's gone off again. Working in the finance, recruitment, all those sort of sectors, obviously money is a big part of the success, because that's sort of how you measure it in a way.
Yeah, I guess you do,
and that, you know, it can go either one way or the other. You know, some people will be like so unbelievably money driven that, you know, it turns into egos and all of these kinds of things, which are obviously not exactly the greatest situations to be in. But
does it change people? Is that what you're going slightly?
What I'm going to say is, do you at your current stage? So, you know, I guess at the minute you are a successful businessman.
Nah.
Successful in the terms of you run a business that is profitable.
Yeah, okay, so maybe like that.
I don't mean as in like you're nowhere near your goals.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Let's have this chat in 10 years.
Yeah, and then
we go, remember when we said, or we thought that
I know for a fact I'll tell you you're a successful businessman, and then you'll go, no.
Yeah, because we'll go again,
But do, at the minute, you see, do you, again, nothing against you, it's a completely open question.
Oh, please.
Have any sort of judgment the first time you meet anyone based on their wealth?
Do I judge anyone? But nah. But I tell you what, I do. What does rub me up the wrong way sometimes. I had it a little while ago actually. People that have had careers and have done really well, but no longer humble with it.
Oh yeah.
So I had someone the other week. And we was in a group of people, and they were banging on about how successful they've been and that. And I'm not a confrontational person. I was happy to sit there and listen, like fair play to you sort of thing, and almost listening because I love this sort of topic, you know. They kept going on and on about themselves. Me. And then I think I was leaving, and the person, I was with somebody else, and they were going to leave. And I said, I'm driving. And the other guy said, well, I'm just going to jump on the train. And this person, this really successful guy, said, don't worry, I'll get my driver to take you home. I thought, please never get like that. Please never get to the point where in front of a crowd of people, I start telling people I've got a driver.
Yeah.
Like, we was in some dirty, dingy bar somewhere, you know, if you were
got a chauffeur waiting outside. Like
if you was a bit of a rock star, you're probably not boozing in there. I think if you're such a jet setter, like you're probably, I mean, maybe you are, but I always hope that you stay very humble with it and that you don't rub it in people's faces and things like that. I really, really hope.
I think I do have quite expensive taste, but not to the point of the ridiculous. And I don't think I think most people that have these big egos and really like to show off their wealth are the sort of people that buy things for their own image.
Yeah.
So it's like, I could have 100 million sitting in my bank. I might buy a Lamborghini, don't know if I'd ever drive it, because as I've told you a million times, all I want is an Aston Martin and a Mustang.
Is that it?
That is it. But like, I'm not interested in having things that most people see as impossible, because then it's just, I see it as almost just drawing attention to yourself. Yeah,
see, so I went from when I was younger and everything being on finance basically, which is 9 times out of 10 what a lot of people have got, which is again nothing wrong with that, but all for show, all for someone else's benefit as opposed to your own. And I went from that when I was younger, that I wanted to have, you know, I don't know, like the watch, you know, the really expensive watch, or the clothes, or the what, you know, whatever it is, but just very, very kind of in your face. Oh, look at me, I'm wearing like a Gucci t-shirt sort of thing, or something like that. And as I've got older, I've just got completely away from that sort of thing. So that used to be, when I was growing up, quite important to me because it was for everyone else's benefit. Now, what I'd love one day, this is almost my goal. One day I want to be able to say this happened, is that you have got the stacks of money in your bank, and you walk into a pub or you walk into a bar, and you just go completely under the radar, and you know, you just like everyone else, you know, you're not coming in like pulling up in the Lamborghini outside of it, you just stroll in, you know, very cash, few beers, leave, and then later on someone goes, oh, Jamie Davies was in here early, wasn't he? Or like, what, the guy that, he's worth like a fucking fortune. Like, really? Didn't even notice. That's what I'd love to achieve one day.
See, that story could literally go one of two ways. It could literally either be go completely under the radar, as some people, and I'm sure you will, because it's sort of the sort of person you are. You're not. Hopefully,
I never want to change that. I always want to stay humble. And look, I think money does change people, definitely. But again, that's on you if you let it completely make you a dick.
Like the other thing that could have gone is like, again, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I thought you were going to say, I walk into a bar and be like, I've got so much money, just buy everyone a drink. You just walk into a bar and go, get every single person there a drink, and it won't even touch the sides.
So I did that with my friends. But again, not to show off, but just to... And again, this will sound arrogant because you can, but I don't mean because you can in the... I can, so I'm just going to show off about it, but just
in a sense
to give something, to
treat,
do something nice.
Treat the people that you care about.
Definitely. I'd absolutely love to be able to almost, again, Jamie's coming out of us, we probably won't have to pay anything, and not because he's flash or shows off, or he's like, right, I'm getting this, I'm taking this here, but also, just because, look, keep your money, save your money, I've got this. And that's the sort of wealth that I want one day.
I mean, I know I always talk about him, but as we were talking about inspirations, the reason that I started watching David Dobrik, and now I listen to his podcast most mornings, and you know, all of these kinds of things, the reason I started watching him was because he had, I think it was this one video, I think the first video I ever watched was this one video where he got a sponsorship and he used all that sponsorship money. Bear in mind how much this sponsorship must have been worth. He went and bought 3 brand new Mercs and gave them to his 3 best friends. Since then, he's given away like 2 Teslas, a Lamborghini, all of these sort of things, because he gets these sponsorships, and rather than use them on himself, he would rather give them to his closest friends. And
I think that's what happens, right? So I think you get the wealth, and you go, wow, this is amazing, and then you almost go to that next level where I've got it all, like there's nothing else that I could have.
He does have that Tesla SUV and a Ferrari.
Yeah, of course, he's got all his cars already. So his next thing is like, do you know what, I could do something really nice. For my friends, something they wouldn't be able to do. Like, can you imagine if you could do that for someone really close to you, that you could go and buy them a brand new Mercedes or whatever car it is, and say, look, don't worry, that's yours.
You should just give them the keys, and they're like, oh, what are you talking about? And they're like,
it'd be amazing. What a feeling. I'd love to be able to do that one day.
It would be incredible to be able to do something like that. Like, I'd also like just things like, I'd love to be able to take my parents on their dream holiday and say, this is for everything you've done. You know what I mean? Definitely. It might cost me like 10 grand per person, but you know, go on a cruise to Antarctica and go and see polar bears in the Northern Lights.
Of course.
Like, it would be incredible.
Well, that for me, that's why you should get up every day. and be ambitious and have that can-do attitude always. Because what else you can do?
Yeah.
You can either try and have a go and do that, or you can do what pretty much everyone else of the average Joe just goes, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, this is all right.
Get up.
I'll tell you what, I'll just abuse this person online.
Yeah.
Or
Get up just in time to get to work. Go home.
Bad
Watch
attitude.
rubbish TV. Cook something relatively unhealthy for dinner.
Boring
and
life.
go again and again and again.
And it's just moan at everyone else that's
Yeah.
doing well and dig them out because I'm too lazy to get off my arse and do that.
To do it yourself, yeah. That is how a lot of people work, and it is sad, really, but it's society.
It is society. I've listened to a few books recently, and it's drummed into people when they're young.
Yeah.
I want to be a policeman. Don't be so stupid. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You're going to go to, I want to be a footballer. Stop
ain't
talking
gonna
nonsense.
happen,
You're not
yeah.
doing that. Like, no, you're not allowed to. Like, how
Yeah,
on
that's
earth are kids
society.
ever going to be able to go and get just told from a young age you can't do stuff?
You're not going to be successful in this, but you might be successful in being a doctor if you go to university.
Go and be an accountant. Go and do go and be safe. I'm not saying that's a bad job. I'm just saying that.
Oh no, being an accountant.
Yeah, but
you know
what I'm saying though. Like,
every business.
Why
needs
not
an
have
accountant.
like
Everyone,
real big dreams?
We need doctors. We need teachers, and
Yeah.
some people that's their complete ambition.
I'm talking about the person that just plods, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And then moans at everyone else that's having a go.
Yeah, I mean, it is society. It is drilled into people from a young age. The sad thing about that is that when you are young, you just listen to everything that people that are older say to you. And if they are saying that to you, then you're going to believe it.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're going to have this head on their shoulders where they've gone, I've listened to 20 podcasts about motivation and read these books and all of this sort of stuff. And then they're going to realise that I don't need to listen to what other people say. When you're young, you're just going to be like this, this written on a plaque, like I can't do this.
I'd love to do that one day, I was thinking about this the other day. If you could employ or you could bring somebody on that's young, but then they've got school and stuff like that. So maybe like completely out of water, like been to school, last day of school, right, you come and work with us.
Yeah.
And you're around really highly motivated, ambitious people who do say to you, right, your homework tonight is go and read this book, or go and listen to an hour of this book, or watch this YouTube clip of Joe Rogan, or do you know what I mean? Like things that are really, really is all about success.
Basically, just trying to nurture the perfect, most motivated person by drilling it into them at the right time in their life.
Because I've only found this stuff in the last couple of years. 2.5 years. 2.5 years.
I think
2.5 years. I started 17. Moved into there. No, probably about a year. 2.5 years ago. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going completely off that.
I mean, the first thing I watched in terms of all this sort of stuff was that Tony Robbins' "I'm Not Your Guru."
Yeah.
And I think that was about 18 months ago or so. It was a few months before I started here.
That was brilliant though, because we got talking about that sort of conversation, and
it was perfect timing.
Yeah, but I was so surprised someone so young, again without being ageist, someone so young listens to that sort of stuff.
I can't even remember.
Mainly because it wasn't around in my day.
Why I watched it. I think the reason why I watched it was because I was struggling with my own stuff at the time.
Yeah.
And I think I looked up like documentaries about mental health and this sort of stuff. And then that one came up and I saw it was on Netflix and I was like, what's the harm? Yeah. So I watched it and I remember the whole time I watched it was just tears the entire time.
It's amazing.
And the other thing that really made me realise is that, all that you hear like people say to you like, there's worse things going on in the world than your own problems. But then it's when you hear people tell their own stories in that level of detail that you realise like, it's not just you that gets upset about things. Like there's people that have some really hard things going on.
How great is he though when he just shuts them out, like shuts them down straight away? He's like, I know there's like he obviously
The
tailors it to the individual, but on some of them he was a bit like. I think the first one on that is about the girl that's saying, "Oh, I'm here because I'm worried about my weight" or something like that. And he's like, I think he just calls her out on it, like, "No, you ain't. It's nothing to do with that."
Yeah.
And there's someone else on it who completely shuts them.
The
He
one
makes the woman break up her fella, doesn't he?
Yeah, that one. And he literally just goes,
"We ain't moving on till you've done it. It needs to be done. Get it done."
Yeah, she's like, "I'm not happy in my relationship," and he goes like, "Well, if you're not happy, why are you in it?" And she's like, "I don't know. It's because I'm scared to break up with him." And he just goes, "Do it now." He goes, doesn't he take her phone? I think he takes her phone.
No. She's there on speaker.
Oh, she's on speakerphone.
And he basically says to everyone in the audience, I think he just says like, "Right, we're not moving on basically until this is done."
Everyone's silent.
I did feel for the guy though.
Oh yeah, big
getting
time.
dumped on telly. On speaker. Yeah.
What happened?
So then some of you think, is that staged or?
I don't know. The other thing you've got to think though is that that's a 6-day program, and
intensive calls,
and we see an hour of it.
Yeah.
How many more people must he have picked out from that crowd and dealt with?
I do want us to go to a couple of them at some point.
Yeah,
I do.
So expensive, aren't they?
Yeah, but do you know what? Again,
it's one of them things where if you can,
they'd say that of your salary a year, you should spend, I think, 10% of your salary a year on yourself. Whether that's on courses, whether that's going to places, whatever it is, on books.
In terms of professional.
Anything, self-improvement. So it might be the Audible or books that you're buying, like you should, courses, and those sort of courses maybe where you go there and they're quite intensive. 10%, I think, of your salary a year, I think, is what a lot of the most successful people do. That's their rule, like 10% of my salary. Can you imagine guys that are on like 10 million a year, spending £1 million on improvements still? Amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the London Tony Robbins thing for the seats at the front, like in the like the stalls, I think they were £5,000 for the week.
Yeah.
But
do you know what?
If you're going by that 10% rule,
I guarantee though, I guarantee things like that, and I want to do this one day, I predict that at the time you go, whoa, that's a lot of money. I guarantee at the end of the week you go, that was worth every single penny. What are you reading at the minute? You reading anything?
Nothing.
What have you read recently? Anything?
It's gone off again. Oh, God.
We'll finish up in a minute.
Yeah.
Just quickly, what are you reading, or what have you read?
I haven't read anything on the sort of motivational business side in a long time. I mean, you and Perry, you're quite big on audiobooks, aren't you?
Yeah.
Whereas, I've never really gotten into that, but podcasts I am quite big on. I listen to a podcast at least once a day.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah, normally I'll either get through, if I don't get through one on the way in, I'll finish it on the way home and then start another one.
What are your favourites?
Views is David Dobrik's one. That's just hilarious.
So is there any real topic behind it? Is there any?
No, they live in Los Angeles, they mix with celebrities, they do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they just talk about their lives.
It's quite fun,
what they've been up to.
Yeah.
Just talking about all kinds of things, but they literally just like sit on their sofa holding microphones up, like all in like, just like, it's the most relaxed podcast ever.
Yeah.
And it's one of them sort of conversation, one of them podcasts where it's more just like a really casual conversation between friends that you can then feel almost a part of.
Yeah.
So I really like that one. Obviously Joe Rogan is incredible, but for me it depends massively on the guest, which is very short-sighted, because I'm sure there's loads of guests that are on there that have some really...
but it's like who you know, isn't it? Like, he's got constant celebs on, so if you know the celeb, you'll watch it. If you don't really know who they are, you won't.
He puts out so many podcasts that you sort of pick the ones that you know who they are.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I've listened to a few of them recently. I've been trying to find some new ones. but I sort of struggle. Like, I want to find some that are more like, like the whole motivational books, like that sort of thing, but in a podcast, but almost in this sense, but where it's actually like, meaningful. And I can't really find any that I'm particularly interested in. There's a gap in the market. Enjoy the grind. So, yeah, that's basically what I'm up to. I would quite like to start a new book, actually.
Have you got Audible?
No. I
it.
prefer reading.
Do you?
I actually read.
Oh, well, there you go then. Okay.
Yeah. Just because I'm quite, me with like physical things. Like if there's a film I love, I have to have it physically.
Well, you should. Oh, do you? So you've got lots of books. So why don't you, even if you try and read one book a month?
Yeah.
And you could do it on your way into work now.
Yeah. Sitting on the train.
Yeah.
Or Audible.
Yeah.
Again.
Audible's wicked.
It's easy. Yeah.
I listen to that in the morning.
Yeah, I do.
Gary Vee at the minute, crushing it.
Yeah. Is that good, that book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I've only just started it,
yeah.
but he's talking a lot at the minute about media. Digital marketing, online, social media.
Yeah.
And it's pretty incredible. Like, it just opens your eyes,
yeah.
which is why we've obviously get, loads of ideas that we want to do with this.
Yeah.
It's just such a big world.
There's so much to do.
And it's good. It is good.
Yeah, I do need to do that. I do need to start getting into more reading, or audio books, or however you do it. But yeah, I mean, there's not millions, but there's tons and tons of books from really successful people and that sort of stuff. But yeah, aside from the Chimp Paradox, which I read a few years ago now, probably, I haven't really been on that side.
I'll dig out a few if you are.
Yeah, I'll definitely.
I've read.
I definitely will.
Jim Rohn's good.
Get a few read. Yeah.
That's a great book, actually. One of his. What's it called? It's essentially about. Hold on one sec. I think I bought that one. Did I read that or did I? Library. Cultivating an Unshakable Character by Jim Rohn. He's brilliant.
I did read
one
another
of the first
one.
ones I read.
The one about I told you about, that one when it was about that sort of like gremlin on your shoulder thing that's doubting you all the time. About how you sort of eliminate that from your life. I read one about that. I read one that was something like how to... I can't remember what the book was called. It was something to do along the lines of how to change yourself so that you attract more positive people. Because it essentially, it was explaining things along the lines of like, if you're negative all the time, you're going to attract negative people.
Yeah.
If you're positive all the time, you attract positive people, which is a message that you push all the time.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was another quite good one. But in general, I read a lot of like all the films that I love. Quite a lot of them come from books, don't they?
Yeah.
So if there's a film that I love and I see the book of it, I'm like, oh, I should probably read that because everyone says the book's better than the film.
It's good, yeah.
So a lot of the films I've read that. I read all kinds of things, just general things that interest me, like all kinds of. I've read a few books about conspiracy theories as well. I love a conspiracy theory. So I do actually quite enjoy reading, but I've got to be in the mood for it.
Yeah.
Which is why maybe audiobooks would be better.
I just think that I think you still have moments when you drift. Like when you read though, when you go, I've just gone past 3 pages, I have no idea what I've just read, I've just literally looked at words. Yeah. So you do have that occasionally, because when you're listening to what they're saying, and then you're then almost thinking about it, how it relates to you a little bit, and then you lose, they don't go back. But yeah, Audible's been brilliant for me. Yeah. But remember what I said, 10% of your salary on yourself. Self-improvement. Yeah. Right, I think we probably need to wrap it up. We've got a fair few things to get done, so... Yeah, we'll have another go. We'll bring another one out later this week, yeah? Yeah, definitely. Cool.
All right,
Thanks,
sweet.
mate.
On to the next one.